Greetings, Tetris citizens. It is your old pal vandweller back with more classic Tetris Monthly Mega Dasters. Yes, our 64-player annual DAS Championship. First time ever doing it. And wow, it has been a banger so far. We've played 1.2 matches so far. And we're going to look to get another match in the books. So this is going to be a solo, single, solitary match out of the blue bracket. I don't have the brackets graphics to show you, but you can use the bracket command and bring up the brackets for both of the events we've got running this month, both Masters and Mega Dasters. So click on that. You can see the whole thing there. And this is an exciting one. We've got, you know, a player that's been kind of flying high for a while in our events. And then we got someone kind of returning. And yeah, let's look at him warming up here. It's Mörkös versus Guerrero. Mörkös, the most comfortable man in Tetris, and Guerrero, I don't know, are you the only medical doctor in NES Tetris active competition? I don't know, maybe. Not using the Guerrero. We'll see. Anyway, but those are the two that are going to be playing while they're warming up. The rules. Let's take a look at our rules real quick. You know what the rules are. For some reason, my new slide isn't showing up. I don't know why, but all the rules are the same, except that it's a 64-player single elimination flat bracket tournament based on the 1989 version of Tetris released by Nintendo for the Nintendo Entertainment System on NTSC consoles. Players can play on emulator or console so long as the game mechanics, appearance, and statistics are unmodified. They can use any controller so long as there's no big buttons or turbo functions used, whether electronical, mechanical, or biological turbo. No biological turbo because this is a DAS tournament, so players should heed the spirit of DAS. That means the press and hold play style, not the slow tap your whole way through a tournament play style. This is actually DAS, right? So please do actually play DAS. Quick tap at the end is fine. 2 and 3 taps in the middle. We're not really policing those, but your 4 and 5 taps are definitely DAS. Almost always. All right. If you do experience technical issues, do keep playing. Do not pause and ask, oh, this isn't going to count, right? Just keep playing. Assume your game's going to count unless we tell you otherwise. Also, do not receive any advice in game while you're playing. In between games, that's fine. In a game, do not. These are going to be best of 5 matches, so the first player to 3 wins is the winner of the match. Level 18 starts all the way through. Same piece sets rerolled, hurts, and input display. Please make sure those are turned on. Prize pool, don't have that graphic up right now, but you can access the prize pool information by using the Matcherino command. If you're watching live, I've put that command in the chat right now. I think we're up to like $9.75. Use the Matcherino command. Follow the links in chat. The one that says Mega Dasters is the one for this tournament. Click on that. It'll take you to the landing page for this tournament with our prize pool partner, Matcherino. Top right-hand corner, that's where you log in. You can log in with your existing Twitch or YouTube account if you want. You don't have to make a separate account. That's pretty good. Yeah, once you're logged in, click the button that says contribute and contribute. We also should have contribution codes for both of our tournaments now, I think, are active. So use those. Every time they get clicked, 25 cents goes into the prize pool, courtesy of Matcherino sponsors. And then, or Matcherino. And there's a limit of 50 and 1 per account. So help us get that free money. And while you're there, kick in 5, 10, whatever dollars. You know, this prize pool is 100% funded by you, the fans, and it gets as high as you guys want it to. You know, I don't have a trust fund or an endowment or a foundation that is funding this whole thing. It's just you guys. That's it. No sponsors. Of course, you can't have sponsors nowadays because too controversial to have a sponsor, you know? Oh, my God. So it's you guys. You guys are the sponsors. So please do contribute to the prize pool. The links are in the chat right now. Also, a big shout to people supporting the channel. We've got patrons here. This is not up to date. But big shout to Scott, Gray, Jane, The Window, K9, Tacky, Corporal Shelby, Troy, and Kim, M. Roke, Potato, Cacket, Mila, Jason, and Javan T, who's not on that list, but will be added. We have other people to be added to that list as well. So thank you to those of you who are pledging an ongoing amount of support over at patreon.com/monthly Tetris. We're going to also add a way to do it on PayPal. You can go to PayPal and do it if you know our PayPal, which I think is on our About page, but there is a way to do it there if you don't like Patreon, and we'll get it. Oh, I'm going to update this slide to have information about that as well. So thanks to everybody who is helping to make this channel a reality. Literally could not do it without you. And that's so true that I'm going to start door dashing to to try to make ends meet and keep CTM going so I can bring you these tournaments without any significant change or interruption, right? That's my contribution, is door dashing. What's yours? All right. That's enough of the nonsense. Let's go to these people playing Tetris. Yeah, no, I didn't update the page in September, and I didn't do anything last night, but it'll get updated overnight. Don't worry. It'll get there. Thank you, Sonny. I'm going to do it tonight. I promise it'll be 100% up to date for tomorrow's streams. And thank you. Oh, it looks like Mörkös already up 1-0. My goodness. Nope. There we go. Just sitting there, 1-0. All right, I'm going to go ahead and drop the pieces in the chat. So this is it. This is the single solitary match that we're doing out of this bracket. Tomorrow, I'll have all the bracket graphics, and I'll keep you guys up to date, but just got to get this out of the way while we can. All right, looks like both players are on seed, and that means both players are ready to begin their blue bracket round 1 match. Mörkös versus Guerrero. Let's get them started in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. All right, we are underway. The same piece sets are dropping on the left side of your screen. It is Mörkös seed number 36. And not used to seeing Mörkös kind of qualifying below the fold in Das Masters. Normally this is a 32-player tournament, but for the championship, it is a 64 seed tournament. And so Mörkös kind of getting saved by the format this month with that 36 seed. Mörkös has finished as high as the semifinals in our monthly Das Masters. Did that in June and January of this year. You've also seen Mörkös play in CTEC, Classic Tetris European Championship, in 2021 and 2020. Won the CTEC Finland in 22. And you've also seen Mörkös play in Classic Tetris PAL and at CTWC Silver Bracket in 2021. And looking to get back into the semifinals in a Das Masters tournament, because hopefully that'll be a big prize pool for our championship. Speaking of prize pool, use the Matcherino command to bring up the links to contribute to that prize pool. Mörkös is from Finland and is ranked number 11 in the most recent Das Premier poll. You can see the full rankings for Das and Open competition over at premierpoll.com. That's run by Pumpy Heart. Premier with an E at the end in premierpoll.com. On the right side of your screen, it is Guerrero. Dr. Guerrero, seed number 61, so barely sneaking into Mega Dasters. Guerrero is from Colombia. He's got a DAS PB of 1.11 million. And Guerrero goes way back, has played in a ton of events, including Classic Tetris Gauntlet, CTL, that's Classic Tetris League, CT Latam, and various other things. Guerrero has actually even played in the Masters event one time, and that was back in August of 2021. And he went out in round one to Corian. That was when it was a 16-player tournament. Now, I don't want to tell you some embarrassing facts about Guerrero, but Guerrero has actually lost a match to Kingsman, believe it or not. But he made up for it by winning CTWC Brazil Regional just a month ago in a field that had some pretty good players. Alejo and Richard Wolf were in there as well. But yeah, won CTWC Brazil Regional last month. 245 here for Guerrero, 383 for Mörkös. Guerrero also a community tournament winner, right? I think one community tournament for August. And may have won another one in the past, but I don't remember. 275 for Guerrero, 431 for Mörkös. Mega Dasters will be best of 5 in the early rounds 1 and 2. Rounds 3 and 4, I think, are going to be best of 7 with a skunk rule, and then the finals and semifinals are going to be best of 7. That is the plan for now. 454 for Mörkös, 323 for Guerrero. And Guerrero kind of up high here, but gets a long bar over to the left, kind of waggles that flat long bar over to the left to help bring this down. Making progress. Guerrero, another one of those players that does not have a Liquipedia page. You think, oh, what has he done? Well, he's won CTWC Brazil. It's a long history of play going all the way back to 2020. Played in all those LATAM events. I mean, let's get Guerrero. And, also Guerrero. Well, we'll tell you after transition here. 535 for Mörkös, 384 for Guerrero, but 150,000 point lead for Mörkös here in game 1 as we approach level 19. 408 entry for Guerrero, 541 entry for Mörkös, but Mörkös is kind of a awkward entry, so he's going to really have to figure out with that left side what he's going to do. Oh, that Z piece, not the best piece, but making it work. And now can Mörkös get something to that left side? Mörkös, that left side is probably too high, and that is going to be it for Mörkös. Guerrero in a Chasedown needs to get to 551. 551 is the target for Guerrero. And he knows the situation. He's chopping it down. He's not going risky-bisky. He's just going to play conservative here and try to take game number 1 against a uncharacteristic early top out for Mörkös here. Early, level 20. So he's now within about 82,000 points. Is that right? Is that how math works? Yes. Now Tetris is here worth what, 26, 27,000, something like that. So you can see now he is about 2 and change or 3 Tetrises away. So plenty of time to do it. Level 29 is the de facto kill screen for Das. That happens at 230 lines in, so he's still got 50 lines to work with. Man, he is not messing around. All right, maybe messing around a little bit here. All right, gonna bring that get that down with a triple. He gets that long bar over to the left to keep that kind of hole open for that J piece. Yeah, just playing very conservatively here. And just, you know, this is a tournament. This is not a PB game. You do not need to go foot on the accelerator. Start getting up a little bit high here, though. All right, he's bringing it down to 26,000 points away. He's actually set up for a Tetris. If a long bar comes, he's gonna take it, and he gets the Tetris and takes game number 1. So a very measured, deliberate chase down there for Guerrero. Gets it done. Not easy, right? Not easy to chase down, even in 2025. So you can take a moment if you need it, but the pieces are there. 2530B1. Feel free to take a moment. But no, Guerrero's like, oh yeah, Guerrero, we do not increment, we re-roll. We really don't trust you guys. Hana, thank you for the tier 1 sub, 52 months, says Car. Indeed. .253 OB1 Kenobi. All right, game number 2 is about to begin. Guerrero up 1-0. They mentioned Guerrero is a physician. Is that right? An actual doctor, not like a doctor like some of you, like a doctor of mathematics, but like a real doctor. People hate that. People with PhDs hate when you say they're not real doctors. They hate that. Believe me, I know. I live with it every day. Because Sue is a PhD. But if I say, oh, you're not a real doctor, she gets really mad. Especially because I'm not a real anything. But anyway, Guerrero, yes, a physician and the creator, you guys know about this, right? Of the vertical Das grip that has been dubbed the, what, Vertigripero? That is the grip that Fractal uses now when playing Das, and with which he won the Jonas Cup in 2024. So I'd be very curious. So this is apparently a better grip ergonomically. But of course you notice Guerrero not using it. He's like, yeah, you can use that, Fractal. I'm not using it, but you can. So I'll be interested to see if more people are adopting that grip, you know, live at Jonas Cup, or if this is just going to be like a weird Fractal thing. But it is very comfortable. It's kind of reminiscent of the Vandy grip that we did at Lone Star in last year, which was holding the controller away from you. We did not think to put it vertically. We were using it horizontally, but you'd be surprised how playable it is. Zembro with the tier 1 sub says, because there aren't enough weird Fractal things. I know, right? Just another in a long line of weird Fractal things. 133 for Guerrero, 175 for Mörkös. You can see how it works, but you won't use it. I mean, it definitely does not. You think, how can I use my controller backwards? But at least if you do like the Vandy thing where you hold it upside down and away from you, like, you know, you're still using your right hand. I'm sorry, you're still using your left hand for the D-pad. You're still using your right hand for the A and B buttons. Now, I'm not saying Guerrero stole my grip, but I'm also not saying he didn't. 266 for Mörkös, 146 for Guerrero. So good to see Guerrero back in a Top Flight CTM event. As I said, I don't think he's played in Dasters since we've begun this tournament, but he did play in the Masters event way back in the day, one time. Did play in Tetris Deathmatch several times. And of course, a community tier 1 winner. Tetris for Guerrero, 220, 339 for Mörkös. That was Guerrero. Okay, here's a trivia question. Guerrero was the last opponent beaten by Corian in the Masters event. That was in August 2021. He defeated Guerrero and then would go on to get defeated by Eric ICX and then would not play in a monthly Masters event again. Did play in Mega Masters the next year, but in terms of monthly Masters events, that was it. And then, of course, the month after that was Hydrant Dude, you know, 1.6 Odin Logi game where everything changed, and Corian hadn't played in the monthly Masters ever since. So Guerrero is the last opponent beaten by Corian in Masters. That's pretty good. I would like that distinction. Of course, you don't want a distinction that says you got beat, but that's not bad. 367 for Guerrero, 550 for Mörkös. Of course, in that Mega Masters that he would go on to play, I think Corian went out in round 1. So even if you count that Mega Masters, he was the last opponent. 647 for Mörkös on 20, 441 for Guerrero. Now, I don't know if while players are playing, if they like to be reminded about times they lost. So maybe I shouldn't do that, but you know, if it's Corian, I think it's allowed. 466 for Guerrero, 656 for Mörkös. There's a nice recovery and a Tetris for Guerrero. Kind of an adjustment here. And, all right, he's still good. He should be able to recover from this. All right, gets a burn down here. If he's going to go for it, yes, he's going to go for that column for Tetris. Gets a long bar and the Tetris. Guerrero, 529, 711 for Mörkös. Mörkös 805 into 24, so this is definitely 1.1-able. Of course, may not need a 1.1 here. Guerrero 593 at 23. Guerrero going to take that triple. Just keep that board safe. But right now, Mörkös with a 260,000 point lead. The R in Mörkös can be rolled. I'm not even rolling Guerrero, which is like the most obvious use case for rolling an R. So I'm not even going to try to do Mörkös, Guerrero, Mörkös. I don't want to do that. All right, there's a nice dirty Tetris. Guerrero 653 on 25. Mörkös 972 on 26. He's got a little bit of clean to do here. Okay, he's going to open up that right side, and he gets a Tetris max out for Mörkös on 28. He's got 9 lines to go. If he's perfect, he could Tetris 3 more times. There's 1. And Guerrero just 20 lines to go until 29. There's not much he's going to be able to do, but we'll see how we can finish it out. Mörkös with another Tetris. He has 1 more available, and there it is. And he gets a 1.1 into 29. Guerrero is in a top-out spiral, and Mörkös is going to tie it up. Players, you can take a moment if you need it, because you're the only match. Oh, he beat your PB? Yeah, he beat your PB, Guerrero. What are you going to do? You got to come back in PB now. Pieces are here, E8056B. So take note of the 8 and the B. You beat my qual. You did beat my qual. You son of a bitch. E8056B. All right, coffee. I can't get enough today. Okay, E8056B. Both players are on seed. Both players have signaled ready. So they are about to begin game number 3. And what was once a best of 5, now a best of 3 virtually between these two. Let's get them started here. Cole rooting on Guerrero. Cole had the same trouble with the name Guerrero that I have with the word guarantee. I always mistype it, and I always remember it. I have to like type it like, wait, AU or UA? You know, guarantee. It is best of 5 for rounds 1 and 2. And we may switch to skunk rule for the middle rounds. And then best of 7 for the semis and finals. Is the first R in Vertigrip arrow rolled or not? That's a good question. I think you'd have to ask Fractal. the Vertigrip. Vertigrip is probably a better technical name, but, you know, culturally, we want to hold on to Guerrero, I think. All right, 134 for Guerrero, 140 for Mörkös. Like, yeah, I figure if I had invented anything, I would hope to be remembered for it. I'm sure I won't be. But, you know, keep his name in there. You know, once Vincent Kingsman take over CTM, I will be a distant memory. 175 for Mörkös, 152 for Guerrero. There's a dirty for Guerrero. He's going to build one row off the bottom. Looking for an L or a J to get set up. It is now set up, but has to burn down. And yeah, just kind of some yucky S pieces for Guerrero. Mörkös in a bit of a pickle. This is not going to be easy for Mörkös. But getting some pieces. The log bar in the middle is going to help. And just good piece knowledge, good stack knowledge there from Mörkös, just to know what can get where, so as to not ruin his left side. 235 for Mörkös. This has allowed Guerrero actually temporarily to get in the lead. Mörkös going to take it back though with a Tetris. Zempro, you're here, right? So I don't know if you watched, but the Adam and what was that match? Adam versus Leo. That match got rescheduled, but it's at 1-0. We had tech issues, so that's going to need to be rescheduled if you're here. Will save me from typing if I could just say it out loud. 301 for Mörkös, 297 for Guerrero. Welcome, Ego Chip, over on YouTube. Marktris is hanging out as well. Super Kai, welcome. 323 for Guerrero, 332 for Mörkös. Guerrero keeping that center well Tetris open. And long bar goes in, bang, Tetris for Guerrero. Mörkös is into 19 at 358, so kind of a low transition for Mörkös. Guerrero trying to better that transition, but we'll see if he can. And so no, it's going to be a 354 transition for Guerrero. So two low transitions for these players. Not sure if a skill issue, piece issue, or what. Usually if it's both of them, it's a piece issue. Tetris Mörkös 470. All right, see if Guerrero's going to try to build. No, he's going to burn. Just try to bring this stack back down, try to reestablish the Tetris well. column 10 where it belongs. 527 Mörkös, 388 for Guerrero. So Guerrero's basically been singling the whole time, but Mörkös's been able to find a rhythm and begin Tetrising. Another Tetris Mörkös, 587. So two players who have been semifinalists in our monthly Taskmasters are, below 32 seed, both Mörkös and Leo. All right, Guerrero starting to get a little high-centered, but kind of an early dash shift with that T on the left. And that, he's going to get a long bar down for a Tetris, but it's going to be really tough to survive. We'll see what he can do. This is going to be very tough to survive. Let's see if he can bring this down. That left side, no, it's just going to be too high. Cannot do anything. That is going to be a top out for Guerrero at 468, and Mörkös is good in game number 3. Pretty decent post here for Mörkös, actually. But he transitioned in at 358. So this is a pretty reasonable post. Like a 430 post so far. And he's going to go for 2 because why not? But now he can't. So yeah, 430 post, not bad. Off of 380. That's a max out post for sure. So, GG's, both players. New pieces are here. A3, D4, C9. Price pool stands at $9.95, guys. Deep Shock, thanks to the raid party of 4. You think that was your transition PB? What do you mean? Your post-transition? What do you mean your transition PB? Like your lowest transition? You mean? All right. All right, looks like both players are ready, so let's go ahead and get them started. Game number 4. Guerrero needs to win this one to tie it up and stay in 3-2-1 Tetris. Major Weekend Tier 1 sub, 36 months, 3 years. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Since we did not broadcast in September, we lost about 100 subscribers. So if you were previously subscribed and you want to help the channel, and you want to cut hours off how long I have to DoorDash to keep CTM going, consider subscribing on Twitch or becoming a channel member on YouTube. $124 Guerrero, $145 for Mörkös. I know, can you believe I'm gonna have to DoorDash to live? Should I do like a DoorDash live stream? And you can watch me DoorDash? That would be fun. 198 for Merc or 171 for Guerrero. I would definitely not do it for free, but you know, someone's asking scale of 1 to 10, how much do I enjoy it? I would say, you know, it's 6, positive. All right, Mörkös with a Spire, and this is really tough. Mr. Valor loves Aspire, but Mörkös, I mean, not enjoying it too much right now. 257 for Mörkös, 210 for Guerrero. And Mörkös really fighting here. Oh, squares and squares. Ay, ay, ay. This is a fight, and that is going to be a top out for Mörkös at 266. So Guerrero with that Tetris is going to take game number 4 and tie up this match. And we now have the first decider of Mega Dasters. It is a Mega Decider. So 2 kind of early top outs for Mörkös in this one. New pieces for the players. B1 4D 2D. B1 4D 2D. Decidra versus Mörkös, you take it. I should make the decider bottle bigger because it's Mega Dasters. All right. There it is. B14D2D. B14D2D. All right, decider time. Looks like both players are ready. The winner of this one single solitary game will move on to round 2 in 3-2-1 Tetris. The winner of this will eventually take on Canada, because this feeds into a match against Salted Sofa, which will then feed into a match against Wallband. So Canada, we put all the Canadians in one bracket just to get rid of them early. They're too dangerous. Well, actually, Knight is playing, right? So where's Knight? It's not. Yeah, Knight is in the mint bracket. It's either mint or aqua. I don't know what it is. But that's on the opposite side. So we could have a Canadian finals still. All right, 47,000 for Mörkös, 47 for Guerrero. And Mörkös spiring again, gonna uncover that right side, and the bar gets in, and Mörkös shaking his head just like the best DAS players of old. That DAS head shake is iconic. But he will survive. 97,000 for him, 98,000 for Guerrero. All right, long bar gets over. Mörkös, 125. Tetris for Guerrero, 128. Tetris Mörkös, 171. Guerrero down stacking. Mark Driss says, someone should wear a Boom Tetris for Jeff shirt for nostalgia. I mean, I think people just have that shirt in the rotation, so maybe probably not even a nostalgia shirt. Guerrero in a little bit of a pickle. This is going to take some doing here. Okay, that L for the left. These Z's and S's, trying to fight through those. Another L for the left. Needs a bar and not going to get one. That's going to be a top out for Guerrero at 142. And Mörkös will hang on. He weathered a couple of early top outs to be the recipient of one of his own from Guerrero. So, yeah, I mean, Guerrero taking, I think Mörkös probably, underqualified here and maybe expecting to come in and say, I'm going to play a 61 seed, whatever. But no, Guerrero taking him to the limit. So great match for Guerrero. And it's really good to call another Guerrero game. And congrats to you, Guerrero, on a good performance. And it's good to see you here and hope to see you again in future events. And again, congrats on winning that Brazil regional. And that is going to do it for today. So we will report this. We'll give Mörkös the 3 that he deserves. And Mörkös will be moving on to take on Salted Sofa in the next round. Not today, but some other time. So let me go ahead and report this to the proper authorities. This is a blue bracket, 3-2. Maybe a little closer than Mörkös was expecting, but in DAS, anything can happen. Especially in these early rounds, kind of chaos. It's really good not to get into these early rounds if you can help it. All right, well, I don't have the bracket graphic to show you, but you can follow the bracket with the bracket commands. The prize pool stands at $10.20. If you want to contribute, here is the link. Link is also in the description on YouTube. And thank you, everybody, for hanging out. We will see you tomorrow. We've got more action tomorrow, both in, I think, Masters and in Mega Dasters. Tomorrow, Masters will have Guafi versus Lucas at 8 in the morning in Texas. So that's going to be good. And then right after that will be a Mega Dasters between Jacobo and Jedi Evan. We'll also have Mega Dasters, Adam MTS, and Leo. That is the part 2 of that match. That'll take place tomorrow. Same time as, well, right now, really. And the Tawny bracket will take place tomorrow. There's a lot tomorrow. My word. Tawny, Rorschach versus Hidari, winner versus Tim. There's a lot tomorrow. I did not realize that filled up very quickly. Vance versus this and that. Winner versus Matt Martin. Ian Keith versus Neuro. Winner versus Cole. So there is a lot of Tetris happening tomorrow. Almost all of it Mega Dasters. Can we set a PB and set PB command for YouTube just like on Twitch? I don't know if that's possible. It's not currently possible with the implementation we have, but maybe someone can figure it out. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you tomorrow with a ton of Tetris. I got a lot of work to do today to make sure that that happens. And thank you all for hanging out. Appreciate patrons and the ones that aren't on here, like Wide and Javan T. Thanks, Scott, Gray, Jane, the Window, Ken, Antaki, Corporal Shelby, Troy, Dan, Kim, M, Rogue, Potato, Cacket, Mila, Jason, as well as those other two people and everybody else on here. And I'll get this up to date today as well. Okay. Thanks, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Twitch will raid you off somewhere. Enjoy your day. Is there anyone streaming Tetris? How do you even know if anyone's streaming Tetris nowadays? Nutricic Acid is restreaming some community tier 2, so we'll go ahead and raid them. All right, take care, everybody.